guys, welcome back to the Robbins Nest.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Dee Dee. Today we're going to start with just a little happy snip because, well, before we get into the very, very late This Is Us, previous video glitch, talk about that in a minute. Today is Friday, January 22nd, and it is Pat's birthday! Woo! He's so excited about turning 48. Oh, oops.
Thanks, babe. I love you.
I love you. Okay, so if you've seen our November birthday videos, then you know. If not, then I'll let you know. In our family, on each person's individual birthday, they choose their dinner meal and what kind of cake they want for their birthday. So you tell them about the dinner you chose. I think it was Nom Nom.
Okay.
I'll go grab your cake.
Okay. The dinner that I chose was steak, a nice big jumbo shrimp, mashed potatoes and country gravy, and sauteed mushrooms. And woo, was it good because my wife is an awesome cook.
Aw, thank you. Okay, so it's not your conventional cake. Strawberry cheesecake. Yum yum. Okay, you ready, girls? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pat. Happy birthday to you. And many, many more.
Thank you.
Ooh la la. You got kissed by a chihuahua.
He did, really.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a minute. Hi guys, we're back. Really do apologize that This Is Us is going up late. We've had a really crazy week. It's the first chance we've really had to sit down and film anything. Didn't want to leave you hanging too long because I know at the end of the last This Is Us, I let you know that we added another kid. So I'll let Pat explain.
Oh, the kid, my nephew. I call him my wayward son. Shortly after Thanksgiving in 2011, he was down on his luck back home in Minnesota, and he needed somewhere to go, so I took him under my wing. Been my little buddy ever since he was 5 years old. Well, 11 years later, he's still here with us.
Yep. Y'all know him as cousin.
Y'all know him as cousin, and he is definitely a fixture of this family, and we would definitely be lost without this guy.
Yeah. We've had some bumps along the way, which any family does, but that's why I say we added another kid, because he really is like our eldest son. So now I'm going to jump into some downhill. And I'm not going to dwell on any of it because we don't dwell on sadness anymore.
No.
We've learned.
Yes.
So, St. Patrick's Day, well, no. March 15th, 2012, Pat is having shoulder surgery. While he's... Oh my God, the clock. Just one more minute. Okay, it's done. That means it's 9:15. Our bird clock, we found at the thrift store here in town. My grandparents had one. And as a memory to them, we had to get it. For some reason, though, it makes the chirpy noises at the quarter hour instead of on the hour. So occasionally it scares us.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chewy Shush. while Pat is in surgery, I'm in the lobby waiting for him to get done, and I get a phone call from Mercy Medical Center in Redding, California. They told me that my grandmother was in the ICU and not expected to make it, and they were concerned that my grandfather was showing signs of dementia. Needless to say, I was bawling my face off when he came out of recovery, and with instructions not to drive for at least a week, we went home, packed a bag,
and we drove to California.
and we got to Redding. My grandmother had actually taken a turn for the better. She was on a much lower level of oxygen than she had been when they called me. She was coherent. When the nurses told me why they thought that my grandfather was showing signs of dementia, it was because he called the hospital every hour on the hour and asked the same questions. So I went over to my grandpa at his house, and he was fine. He refuses to go into hospitals, so he refused to go see her. We went and stayed in a hotel that night, and then the next morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call from the doctor in the ICU. My grandmother has taken a turn for the worse again, and I needed to get there sooner rather than later. So Pat took me to the hospital, and we called my best friend to come and sit with me, and he turned around and drove all the way back to Helena, Montana to get the kids and bring them out, hopefully in time to say goodbye. That was not the case. St. Patrick's Day, 2012, I lost my grandmother. Extra special because my grandparents actually raised me from the age of 10. I'm not going to get into why yet, but so Nana passed. I was there for a week, and then I had to get back to work. My best friend and I had spent 3 days cleaning my grandparents' house. It was really bad. I had no idea. So when my grandfather told me that I needed to move home to take care of him, we had a hard decision to make. But considering the upside downness we were with my house, it kind of made sense. Pa bought us a house in Redding, and we started the court process with the exes to be able to move the children, and started the process of having his probation transferred to Shasta County, California.
And what a nightmare that had become.
Oh yeah. The kids and I all moved to Redding in July of 2012. Pat was able to stay with us for 4 weeks when we first moved out. Then he had to go back to Helena, check in with his PO, and unfortunately, there's a policy that even with the desire for a probation officer or parole officer to allow travel permits, there's a limited number of days that a person can be out of their county, right? Jurisdiction, yeah. And then they have to be back for another certain number of days before they can leave again. Which meant...
The way it worked is for 2 weeks I could be out in Redding, California visiting my family. I'd have to be back at the end of that second week, but then I'd have to wait 30 full days before I can put in for another travel request, go for 2 weeks, come back, be back 30 full days before I could go again.
And that is how it was until they finally got his probation transferred to Shasta County. Unfortunately, California, instead of the probation that he was on in Montana, all of a sudden he was on parole in California. That made life not fun. But, I mean, not really. Their rules weren't much different.
No, and once they realized that I wasn't there to play games and be a nuisance to them, they just kind of left me alone.
Yeah, but it took, so the kids and I moved out there July of 2012. Pat didn't get to officially move home until April of 2013. So that was hard.
It was very hard.
But with her, you know, it only made us stronger as a couple and a family.
Yes, yes it did. And maybe in the next segment, I'll tell you a little story about getting pulled over and searched by Idaho's finest on my birthday.
2013.
2013. That is a story all on its own.
All right, we will move on. Some happier times and some sadder times in Reading next time. And we'll try really, really hard to be on time on Tuesday.
Yes, we're sorry.
I'll see you then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.